from time to time with the small skirmishes, but it did not work out. But like you said, Wolf, it's possible for Feliz to kind of, you know, throw a punch back at Ballistix.
And this is the map I had in mind. I was really thinking about, you know, if we ended up taking more time to get in the game, I wanted to talk about this. We'll talk about it, I guess, really quickly as we head into the draft. But I think this is the best map for Ballistix given this scenario, because Feliz has shown some win ahead, like some really good decision making and rotations. This kind of eliminates that element because it's a two-lane map. You play to SC's strengths because all of his heroes that he's very good at are insanely strong on this map for Immortal Racing. Is Phoenix, is Hanzo, you know, Rainer, etc. Vala. You know, these are heroes that excel on this map. And even though they won Towers of Doom, I personally feel they got very outdrafted. If Gen G plays that draft against Ballistix, the game looks very different, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you play to your strengths in the draft, pick an early SC hero for your first pick, probably going to be the Hanzo, I would imagine. And you're going to feel really good about this map choice now.
Definitely, like you said, this definitely is the map that Ballistix wants to kind of finish off the series off with, kind of comfortably going into that two-lane map. But like you said, and like we were talking about before, Feliz, they definitely have something in mind. And, you know, even though Ballistix may be a little bit on top, but they do get that Hanzo ban here.
That's smart.
They definitely heard what you said. But like I was saying, Feliz, they definitely have a chance. This is not over for them yet because they put up a close fight against Ballistix in both of the round. It wasn't just luck in the first round where they were up, you know, almost at the victory lane, but it was both of the games where Feliz just actually showed some power in their punches that they were throwing at against Ballistix.
Well, with Hanzo removed, Laming is going to be the DPS that works with all other DPSs very well. When Feliz is taking the safe first Laming pick, it's a great pick for Dudu and Aimer. Obviously, they've both played it in the past to great success, especially on previous teams before Feliz existed. SC gets his Rainer pick. Was never going to let that one go away with Hanzo removed. And they get Deckard. So what does Feliz pair? Because an old school thing to do here would be to pick the hammer and just say, like, okay, we can pick Tyrael later. You know, we can protect against whatever dive comes our way. They already picked Rainer, so we just kind of outrace them, outpoke them. You know, Rainer getting less scaling in the late game is also kind of a boon for Feliz in this case. But not going to be the case for now. See if we see that hammer ban come through.
It is the Blaze and the Karazim. We're going to just play it safe, and we did see in our other game with, you know, Blaze's bunker just kind of owning up and eating up all the heroics on the opponent. So, you know, like we said, Blaze's bunker, it could just basically negate any heroics that's coming your way, and as long as it's put down right, Feliz, they could have a chance.
Yeah.
You know, like the bunker, it just turns around the game so much. Just the bunker itself.
Sure.
It allows for the opponent to waste one or two heroics on you, and, you know, waste it on the bunker. Everybody's still healthy, and they come out and they re-engage into a team fight, and they come out victorious. And we've seen that happen multiple times, even a couple of times today. So, and Blaze being on the side of Feliz, as long as they make the right call with the bunker, it could happen.
Well, one of the elements that has been the same for Ballistix both games is the Thrall. They removed that now, and all eyes were on Dudu just a moment ago. He was the one on camera, for those who don't recognize him. And the big question is, what does he pair with Li Ming? Phoenix is available, which is kind of crazy, despite the fact that we have 6 bans, that he might just be able to play that here. And then the next question becomes, what main tank do they play that with? It could even be a Johanna, but it's the hammer pick, and we're going to see ETC. This is as old school as it gets, man.
Oh, gosh.
Look at SC's face. He doesn't look too happy about that one. They didn't ban it. They banned the Garrosh. I was talking about this earlier. And,
wow.
You know, in the past, ETC, for those who don't know who have started following competitive heroes recently, ETC used to actually give a 20% attack speed bonus. That was his trait.
Yeah.
And that would make this comp even more powerful, and did in the past. That's why he was highly contested back then. But this comp makes it very difficult to get on top of Li Ming and Hammer. It's got safe, consistent damage. And if you do dive in, as, say, the Muradin, you're going to find yourself on the back of a power slide and a 7-sided strike.
Gonna get pushed and then pushed again. But they do pick out the Junkrat, which I personally like against this kind of composition on the side of Feliz, where, you know, you can kind of do your damage and kind of annoy them, maybe not kill them, but annoy them pretty much for them to change their targets or kind of pull back with, you know, doing damage from afar.
Junkrat has the ability to, with both his heroic, his Riptire, and his concussive mine, disrupt the positioning of Sergeant Hammer. And if you get knocked into a comp that can blow you up very quickly, and you're still in siege mode, like, you die. So the Junkrat is picked purely for damage and CC. Ace in the Hole hasn't been locked in yet for SC, but I think that's almost a must, given that they ran Deckard Cain and, Lux, and I was like, I was about to talk about the synergy, I'm like, until he does, like, more damage to mercenaries. He would never. But, yeah, there's a lot of synergy there. So the positioning of Dudu on this hammer, again, is going to have to be phenomenal in order to make sure that he does not get concussive mined and blown up.
Yeah, but this time around, you know, Ballistix going with this 2-lane actually could have kind of helped out Feliz being able to pick up the hammer as well. They're just going to always constantly be a 1-to-4 split most of the time. Yeah, and it's just going to be... It might backfire onto Ballistix.
You're certainly right about that. I mean, the fact that they've limited this to a 4-man lane, where not only does Hammer Leeming do great on the objective, but also does great in lane. And they have the ETC. You notice that Ballistix just stayed behind the wall there for the early game. Here's the first mine. But they stay behind the wall because, like you said, you're exactly right. Like, this comp will do a ton of damage. You can't dive it. You can't punish it. You will die trying at level 1.
Exactly. And basically the only counter is Junkrat kind of throwing his bombs from afar. And, you know, will that be enough to force them back and take the advantage for the side of Ballistix? Or is just Feliz just going to slowly chip away at their door and take the advantage? The Immortal fight, we'll have to see.
Well, Scroll of Sealing is very powerful in conjunction with the concussive mine because it gives you a free guaranteed mine hit, obviously because you're stuck and rooted in place. So that's something that Hammer will have to really be aware of the positioning of Magi, because if Magi is in such a place where he can root, then Dudu cannot be there. And actually we're going to see a little bit of a lane swap here as Junga was dominating the lane, went for the auto attack heals.
The mines, not going to be enough.
But this guarantees them a camp. It's going to be traded, but remember, just like you were saying earlier, the hammer rotation back bottom, if it needs to be, just really easily shuts this down. And their comp is so much better at pushing and poking.
This is what they're doing in Junkrat. They're trying his best to poke out the hammer, but it's not working.
Okay,
it does throw him in.
Yeah, that's the mine kind of combo I was talking about earlier against the siege mode. But remember last game when they were pushing with hammer? And hold that thought. Dudu's body blocked here. He might be out of luck. Knocks them back.
Yep, he does push him back and get out, but Dudu once again, he does get picked off. Another nice throw from Junkrat as well. Gonna get another pick onto Karazim as well.
Yep, Hanaten caught over the wall there. Vision granted by SC for just a second, so he was able to auto attack and then finish him off with the Q. Well, I was going to say, this is what I wanted to highlight, is Aimer is actually in the lane, whereas last time when they pushed with Hammer, they pushed 4-man, and then we saw that the counter push from SDE on the Thrall, or sorry, the defense there while they counter pushed, meant that they lost experience. They didn't do that this time, and so it forced a more heavy reaction out of Ballistix. And had that gank failed, which it nearly did, then Feliz would have been in a great position now. But that's not the world we live in. It succeeded. They killed them. Now they have a scaling advantage here. Very important for Raynor to have that extra level. Gonna be tough.
He does engage.
Okay, but that's a dead Junga.
Yeah, that's a dead Ural, and you don't want to see Ural get just focused down that quickly. That was just too fast.
And now they're gonna get Dudu and Aimer into position to do massive damage to this Immortal for halftime. Knows OJ's positioning, just making sure that no one can threaten Sergeant Hammer at the moment.
Yeah, you see SC actually kind of sneaking up on top and doing his own damage to their Immortal.
Yeah. He does as much as he can. I mean, Raynor is quite adept at doing damage here, especially with the extra 4% scaling he had here. But Not gonna be enough. Now this is the amazing position where you have Leeming Hammer, where you're like, dive me if you dare. There is no exit. They are gonna do it, or at least Zhonga is considering it.
Let's get out of the siege mode, but it's not too much danger here.
All they're trying to do is eliminate the shields. Like SC is like, please buy me some time. I can make this a weaker immortal for us.
Look out, Dudu has to back off here.
Oh, this power slide though. Uh-oh, Ballistix in trouble. That orb does not connect. It would have been a dead hooligan.
Yeah. And SC actually does come back, and you know
he has to fight.
Yeah, he has to fight because they know they can win this team fight and actually, take the advantage.
Dudu, he knows they're all on cooldown, so he can just sit here. Ooh, Zhonga.
Jump did not go over the wall.
Just trying to block out the final blows here. As SC goes back.
But Dudu once again, he just up and gets that last bit of health out of the immortal.
Now this will work for the first immortal, where you have this position where you can hide into the little crescent there. Basically, you're standing where the shaman camp normally is. For future immortals, well, that's not the position where you can operate from. It's going to be a lot harder. But Feliz is able to do this on the first time. And this is like the oldest trick in the book. I mean, ask anyone who's played competitive heroes since this map was released in 2015. You will see this a lot in all levels of play. It's very, very common, but it's very difficult to play against. Look at Hooligan! Oh, interrupted! With that face melt, he interrupted the dwarf toss. Almost a kill there.
Yeah. Very close. Another move. It's not going to be too much with the immortal being in the front. Back.
A 5,000 hit point immortal will almost never do this much damage. It's about the composition that Feliz has. Not only are they good at rooting themselves and blowing up an immortal, it's difficult to dive with the ETC pick.
Yeah.
They're also very adept at sieging with an immortal because they have so much poke.
Exactly.
Like, look at what they're trying to set up. Dudu is trying to bait them to overextend, and then OJ is going to punish.
Yeah.
That's the idea, because he can interrupt dwarf toss. That's what this ETC pick is all about.
You see OJ just waiting in the middle of the fight. So, like you said, if they dive in, you can push him back and just push him back again with the hammer. And it's just going to be so far to get back into lines of fire for your teammates. So it's not going to be good, but the Junkrat has been doing a great job.
Zhonga with a huge miscall in the top lane here. He was crushing the lane, but decided to commit in for some reason. Uh-oh, speaking of committing in, look at it! Boom! Goodbye, SC! Sayonara! That is an insta-blow-up. That's what Feliz has been looking for.
Yep.
Those overextensions. Zhonga, meanwhile, in the top lane, he's asking for trouble.
Definitely is. He knows there's another fight going on at bot.
Imagine with seven-sided strike how some of these exchanges are going to go in just a little bit.
Wow. It's just, well planned. It's an obvious pick. It's an obvious composition coming from Feliz, but they're definitely making it work. And Ballistix is actually falling for some of the traps that Feliz is setting with Dudu here with that overextension, like you mentioned before.
This is how Gen G played this map for a really long time, and Feliz is really emulating a lot of that, including Sake's Karazim, right? But I am impressed. This is the kind of coordination that you see from top 3 teams in Korea, not from the bottom end. And Feliz is making it work. Look, Hooligan, he's already lost his health bar.
Oh,
he's dead. That's 10.
Yeah,
and that's a reset for Aimer. They got to be careful.
This is not looking good. You see Aimer's heroic. It's actually kind of the defensive, or you could say the initiating for his teammates, depending on the situation. But wow.
Like, think about everything that we've watched the last 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Then plus 7-sided strike, plus BFE, or BFG, excuse me. They're going to get a fully shielded immortal this time. Zhonga needs to be careful about even collapsing in on this. It's going to be a risky play. They've got bunker.
Got bunker. The roof.
Yep. Rip tire here, plus the sleep.
Not going to be too much. OJ does take some damage. Will he die? He does survive.
Liu says, no, man, he's fine. Fully shielded immortal here for Feliz. They escape, and they use 2 short cooldown heroics. Everything else is held for the push. And remember, just like we saw previously, this is an insane sieging comp. Look at OJ. They don't know where he is. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, they don't know.
Oh, gosh.
That was a great play by Zhonga to knock him away.
Definitely. If he got behind them, just any of them, it would have been death coming through, but...
Here comes Naughton. Uh-oh. Charge. Power slide here.
Look at Doodoo. He's just so happy. He's just doing all the free damage that he could ask for.
The thing is, the Immortal is doing the real damage here while they're forced away. They can't really get into position to contest the Immortal, which means the whole fort goes down, and this is going to be the keep wall poked at.
The Immortal only lost his shield. He's very healthy. Health going down, getting focused on, but look at Doodoo and the Immortal just doing so much damage. You see Liu just holding on to Hooligan. By himself, buying time.
Wow. Despite Deckard Cain's best efforts, man, the Li Ming hammer combo, siege power, is not something you should shake your stick at.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's definitely working and looking great for Feliz, having that one level lead here. We've never seen that in the previous game. We didn't even expect it to come this way in the previous 2 games. In this 3rd game, it's just wow. We're going to see some WoW and Super Play games coming through.
Ballistix is going to have to find a way to engage this comp. With OJ playing this well in the ETC, this might be OJ's best game of his career. I'm not even messing around. When he's playing this well and they're not accounting for him, they're having a lot of problems. I think the best way to counter OJ in this position is to try to find him and kill him while he's flanking, because he's positioned himself so riskily. He's playing around vision well, but if you can identify where he is, which is tough, then you could kill him while he's alone. Maybe that's the way that Ballistix should operate here in lane. But every time you make a mistake trying, you lose big against a hammer.
But they're not diving him anymore. They kind of got the idea of the way OJ is playing, like you said, taking the risky placements and kind of flanking around for that pushback, but now they're not going to commit to focusing on Doodoo or diving him rather, and not give OJ the chance to come around.
Alright. 13's up for Feliz. Big spike's going to come at 16. That's when Mirror Ball's going to be taken for Li Ming. And that's going to be a lot of damage.
You see Urel at top by himself, kind of.
By the way, top hero damage for Hanaten. Because he's been crushing Urel so much in the top lane, as well as just putting out a lot of AoE.
You see Ballistix Immortal just going down, just melting. Already at half health.
Yeah.
Just so much damage output.
Like, I don't know. The Hooligan's going to get caught here. He has to use his avatar. Look at the mosh! Okay, interrupted here. Well done. OJ's out of position. This could be their first big fight. Jungha getting those heals off. Going to be a knockback on the Riptire. They do knock it out.
Does break down the Riptire, but is he safe? Yes, he is. But still, ETC is down, and this Immortal is not looking great for Feliz.
No, not anymore. Ballistix is turning on this. Top push is going to have to be dealt with eventually. I don't know who's going to go over there. Their wall is already damaged, as we know. So that's something that is kind of an emergency situation right now for Ballistix. As, you know, we do see Sergeant Hammer is working on this. Gonna just slow this down a little bit. We do finally see that it's, in fact, SDE who goes up top to deal with that push. A little bit of damage to the keep. But this is the first Immortal of the game for Ballistix.
Yeah, that really is. And, you know, it's better to get a later Immortal, I guess, but the shield is pretty low. And Ballistix, they have to revolve around this Immortal that they got in the first 12 minutes, so we'll have to see how they do so. But Doodoo is taking out that shield. It's not going to be too much here. You see everybody just revolving around Doodoo.
Okay, does get rooted, but SDE is not here for the Fallout Concussive. You can see where he put it, where he was trying to land that, but it was just a little bit too late. Hanaten, meanwhile, is just uninterested in anything but split pushing. He wants to get that fort. But this is, you know, a good defensive comp. Okay, SDE trying to set for the mine, does not hit Doodoo, but does hit Aimer. Oh, nice shots blocked by Liu. This could be a fort, though. The problem is that Feliz has so much poke. It's good for attack, it's good for defense.
They do keep that keep alive here. You have to back off here on the side of Ballistix. Feliz does get the bottom fort back.
Yeah. Ballistix finally, though, because Urel's been staying bot around all this, Ballistix finally takes an experience lead for this. Their scaling is better for the late game in a lot of ways, too. Stuff like the orbital BFG, which doesn't affect structures anymore. is something that you would talk about in the late game previously, but it's not really a big factor here. I don't even know what Hammer will take in 20. It almost doesn't happen. We'll see what Dudu decides here. Also, Repulsion is decently powerful, but it's just the damage output that Rainer's going to have at 20 that's really terrifying. It's the Rewind for Meridian. The big power spikes are for Ballistix. The big power spikes for Feliz are about to happen at 16. That's when Mirror Ball comes through, like I was saying. That's when the Cleansing Touch comes through.
Exactly, and you guys saw before as Dudu was in lane, siege moded up. They didn't dive in. They kind of figured it out. Hooligan decides to just kind of flank around to see where OJ actually is, and they make the dive just, you know, unable to happen for the side of Ballistix. They know where OJ is. They know how they've been playing after they got picked off a couple of times, and they're not going to dive Dudu anymore.
Yeah. They're just they're really adapting, honestly.
Basically, yeah.
And you make a really good point. And now the question is, how does Dudu get value when you've already gotten both forts? You know, that's supposed to propel you into nice self-cleanse here. That's supposed to propel you into a huge experience lead, and that's what they had, but they've lost that now. And now Dudu's only going to be useful for the objective. It's spawned, but they're out of position. So they're rotating over late. They do eventually push Ballistix away. But this has no split pushing elements to it, what Feliz has. This is do or die right now.
There we go, Hooligan does go in now. He do not care. Nathan's in the back, kind of bothering Junkrat.
SDE dodged everything there, just casually walks away. OJ looks for the Maj. It's going to be a decent one, but the sleep comes through. BFG, 7-sided, but most of that damage is absorbed.
Bunker nicely placed, but how long is that going to work? OJ does stay alive, but does get picked off.
Magi, very, very low.
Very well played. On both sides, actually, the bunker did save OJ for the time being, but does end up getting picked off. And also for Junkrat, Hanatan does pick onto Junkrat, but he has to fall back and put the bunker down because of OJ keeping SDE alive and allowing him to do more damage output while they had to be on the defensive. So it's going back and forth, but at the end of the day, ETC does get picked off.
And it's crazy how much SDE was able to avoid there. Just perfect positioning. Absolutely godlike. We're going to have halftime here. Cleansing Touch going to help Hanatan get out of here. So much damage done by Li Ming, but not enough to the Immortal. All just to heroes, and not enough to get kills or resets. Respawn does come through here for OJ. He's not going to have Mosh Pit, but he is going to be able to help set up some nice engages here.
They do push Ballistix back for the time being, but is it really enough? I have to see, because Ballistix, they definitely are regrouping.
OJ's mounted, so that's a very powerful thing with ETC. SD cleared bot wave, just coming up right now. But
they are pinging where OJ is. They definitely know.
They definitely know. They're right about that. But the fact that he's mounted means he can rush in quickly. They can't reveal him without auto attacks. Okay, Junkrat's blown up here. Nice flank by Aimer. He gets a reset 7-side onto Hooligan. Avatar's not that good. It's pretty solid, but he's got to get out of here. And Feliz keeps this Immortal alive, 5,600 HP. And they can look for more.
Definitely the Avatar does save him, but like you said, he does get melted down even with the Avatar proc.
It's a long, long road for Dudu here, 25k to catch up.
Look at Aimer just trying to poke them down in the bunker, nicely placed.
Hooligan is like trying to stormbolt the Immortal. It's a long, long road, again, for Dudu to push through this 25k to catch up, but, you know, eventually he will. 10 seconds on SDE. Oh, through the wall, the Mosh! Where are those resets, though, for Aimer? Everyone's rooted. He needs to get kills now. Junga's blocking all the damage. They're going to commit. This is going to be Ballistix Immortal.
They were unable to melt him down, and they do get healed back up. And it was a nice try on the side of Feliz, holding that for a very long time. But Sergeant Hammer's not going to do enough to get that all the way down.
They have Mirror Ball here, which is Li Ming's 16 talent that gives her more magic missiles. That's very powerful against the Immortal. They have Sergeant Hammer, and they have Bunker up in 5 seconds. They will not save the keep. That's almost impossible at this stage, but I don't think this kills them unless they make a mistake. Ballistix is looking for that angle, looking for that mistake, looking for that opportunity. It could be a concussive mine that starts it all off, but as long as Feliz just keeps tossing out magic missiles here, they should be able to survive this. They will lose the keep, Oh, big stun!
Oh.
Cleanse here, keeps him alive.
But look at how low Dudu is. SD has been poking over the wall onto Dudu. Now Dudu has to fall back just in case he gets dived, and the keep does go down.
Okay, Riptire looking for that opportunity. Aimer's trying to knock it away. Super low. Okay, doesn't actually get anything with it. Immortal's starting to take some serious damage here. Ballistix needs to be careful about overextending. Say, well, listen, already used. Here's the BFG. Bunkers up. Core's going down, though. I don't think they can defend this anymore. This is too much damage.
The Immortal's still alive, and the core does go down.
Ballistix will take the series with a 3-0. But I think this has been a great Feliz series. I think for Ballistix, they're probably feeling a little bit more like, wow, you know, that series was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah.
You don't feel like celebrating here. Whereas Feliz is, I think, feeling pretty good about what they were able to accomplish. Leading the early game in both games won. Actually, honestly, the early game in all 3 games, they won.
Yeah.
Even on Towers of Doom with their Sergeant Hammer pick, they worked that out. Once 10 hit, it kind of fell away from them, but Ballistix are able to win in the late game. They show their experience here. Take a look at the siege damage for Hanaten. He spent so much time in the off lane. It's crazy.
The siege damage and the experience soak all done by Hanaten is just amazing. He's played a fantastic game. Same goes for all, you know, everybody that was defending the hammer as well. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, I kept my eye on the Junkrat of where he positioned himself to kind of poke out the hammer, and every time over the wall, they know with the Deckard, with the scroll, where the hammer is, and the Junkrat just throws over his palms over the wall and just pokes down Dudu. And Dudu, yes, he has his thrusters and is able to run away, but being at half